Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Denise Barr, and I'm your second affirmative speaker today, second negative speaker today on this issue. So I will be talking about some workability and disadvantages on this. So to begin, I want to start off by saying that switching systems will not increase numbers. This has been proven ineffective in many other countries. I have a quote here from an article titled Organ Donation Does an Opt-out System Increase Transplant from BBC. And this states, however, opt-out schemes don't always translate to increased organ donor rates. In Sweden, for example, such scheme has been in force since 1996, and it remains one of the lowest ranked countries for organ donations in Europe. Additionally, I wanted to mention, as the affirmative speaker mentioned earlier, that people can still opt out. So this kind of proves that we don't really need to change the system, because overall, at the end of the day, people can still get out if they want to. And also, to kind of piggyback off that, families still have the choice at the end of the day. So I have a quote here from Presumed Consent and Organ Donation on Donate Life California. And this is kind of reflecting off Europe's system, and this states, or the claim here is that even though some European countries have presumed consent, families still have the final say. So most significant in this assessment of auto opt-in and express consent is the fact that European countries that developed this maintained presumed consent in their laws, don't rely on it to actually recover organs. This report, the 2012 Survey of Practices, reports that donation professionals in all these countries require family consent prior to recovery of organs. So essentially, families have the final say in the end. So a huge disadvantage to this is that the government has, or to reiterate what my partner stated, presumed consent is unethical. This being that the government has the call on our bodies. So Melanie Phillips, author of this article, Presumed Consent for Organ Donation is Unethical, states, presumed consent implies that the state has first call on our bodies. That is objectionable. It further implies that our bodies have no value, being merely sacks of spare parts. And additionally, I wanted to bring up the point that when you turn 18, that's when the government gains this entitlement. So say you don't have enough time to actually opt out, or say you die in a car crash overnight, birthday, whatever's going on. But in that event, your organs would be given up, so that isn't good, because what if you did not want to do that? So I have a quote here from Melanie Phillips as well, author of the Presumed Consent for Organ Donation is Unethical, and she's talking about how some people don't have the resources or the ability to opt out. She states, what about people who forget to opt out or are too ignorant or handicapped to understand? As some doctors have suggested, this will open up the prospect of stolen organs being used. And this is key as well, because some people don't have families. So what if, what in that situation, their organs can potentially be stolen as well. And the last point that I wanted to make on disadvantages is that sometimes opting out can be quite difficult. There could be technical or administrative issues with your objection status, since this would obviously be on some type of network or something of that nature. And the Organ Procurement and Transportation Network stated in this article that there is uncertainty whether mailed-in objection notices will be entered on the database and whether the information will be distributed to organ procurement organizations in a timely fashion. So just essentially that advantage or that disadvantage could be huge if you don't want to give up your organs and you say no and it gets lost in the process, and then at the end of the day, since it's mandated, they might take your organs. Thank you.